are unedited on video. This is all straight dope. And we do that on purpose because we're taking away the big scary out of what most American businesses are dealing with. They don't want to touch digital media. So you're about to meet Melanie. Check this out. You're going to have a lot of fun. Getting ready.
Okay.
This was the surprise I told you about.
Let's butter this corn.
Well, hello there. You're listening to the Offbeat Business Show. This is Susan Hamilton, and I want to just invite you to. I'm going to start over because I didn't like that introduction at all. See, we do that too.
You're a little hot.
A little hot.
At the beginning, so.
Like this? Is that better? Well, hello there. Welcome to the Offbeat Business Show. This is Susan Hamilton, where we represent the 80% of American small business that tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. That means we're building our businesses while we're raising our kids. We're taking care of our parents. We probably have a veteran that's either bringing their A game and helping us really succeed with their skill and their discipline. And more likely, about 30% of us are struggling with addicts in our family or our workspace. And these things can be great distractions. We also recognize that there are large veteran causes that run down the center of American business. And when we bring our business resources to you, we do that out of great respect for knowing exactly who you are. We invite you to enjoy this lunchtime with us, and 20 minutes will change your life. We are talking today with someone that I have just thoroughly enjoyed ever since we started. This is Melanie Murphy of Melanie VO. Is that
Melanie Murphy Voiceovers, that's me.
Yeah. A lot of people don't really think about what this means for them in terms of how they're running their business, but there's an element of polish that you're about to see the Offbeat Business Show step into because of this relationship, which I think is very cool. Melanie, what do we not understand about the voiceover industry and how on earth that matters to the average American business?
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to share about that today. I think, first of all, voiceover gets overlooked because what does that even mean? We may not necessarily, unless you're in the biz, know what that is. Mm-hmm. And so let me just start with that.
Yes.
I am a voiceover talent. I'm a voiceover professional. I get paid to talk. And more precisely, I get paid to read. A script. A script gets put in front of me, and it can be for anything. So where you would probably hear voiceover would be on the radio when you're listening to a commercial, or you are watching a YouTube video and right before that comes an ad. Or let's say you are having to do that continuing education that we sometimes have to do for different aspects of business, the one that puts you to sleep sometimes. Well, I do that, but mine doesn't put you to sleep.
So you're a little more interesting?
Yes, to engage. And all of those areas, including like phone systems, that is a voiceover talent. Anytime you hear a voice and it doesn't match the person that you see on the screen, that is voiceover. So if it's a talking actor on the screen, that's an actor. But if it's a voice, maybe it's for animation or anything else, that's a voice actor.
Okay, so we recognize it when we're watching cartoons and we're going to see something, where we know that's not really the actor. It's a cartoon. We kind of get that, but a lot of times we don't realize that when we're listening to a training sequence or a voice on a phone, that might be someone we're paying to represent us better than possibly we're doing ourselves. Because as you said, that's a more polished approach, more professional approach that we may just be overlooking as one of those small details that we don't need. But how many of you know those details make the difference?
They do. And we forget that small amount of detail can really set us apart. For instance, we buy and wear professional clothes when we go to an event because of first impressions.
Right.
But then sometimes business owners overlook that if they don't get you when a person calls, they get your voice message. What kind of image are you putting out there? That's a first impression that can make a deep and lasting impression. So why not make sure that it's professional to leave that person with the understanding that I've worked hard to establish my brand, my product, my company, and I give you the best, starting with when you call me.
I think that's probably even more important the larger your organization is, and I'm not talking about a huge organization. Of course, I'm talking to you. You're looking at possibly having several phones being answered. inside your organizations, and having something consistent like that that is well thought out, because you probably make sure we don't forget what to say. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we leave things out, don't we?
Absolutely. So I usually receive a script, whether it's for your phones or a video that you're doing on your website or a trade show video that you're going to have in your booth.
Mhm.
And I look at it, and then I usually inquire, is this edited and approved, or do you need new eyes on it? It just depends on what it is. But especially with phones, I'm quick to say, I noticed that you didn't actually press 1 at any point, but we're pressing 3. Should we revisit what it is that when I call and I want accounting, what I press, that sort of thing, just to make sure that the script is in place and that they can feel confident that they're getting everything that they need to out of it.
I'm going to make you dig deep a little bit there and help me
Okay.
understand what you meant by that.
Sure. Thank you. If I went too far too fast, and that is okay. So I call Susan Hamilton, and she's on another line, so I might get an on hold that says, "Thank you for calling Susan Hamilton. I'm sorry I can't take your call right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, go ahead and press 3. If you actually are needing to talk to accounting, or you have a question about a bill, press 2." And so when you hit a phone tree sometimes for different businesses, they have it sparsed out where you can get exactly where you need to quickly by pressing a number.
Okay. And you just make sure that that's all very consistent
Sure.
and clear. You know what I really hate with phone trees?
What's that?
I hate if you know your party's extension. If you
You can
don't,
dial it at any time.
but if you don't, then here's the directory. The directories never work. Ever. They never work. Does
I just
anyone
press-
ever? You know what? Leave me a comment under this video if you have ever heard a phone tree work when you use the directory, because I just don't think that's stuff that.
I just press 0.
I know, right? We use our shortcuts.
That's right.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, I love knowing that the trade show videos, I've actually got some people I'm going to introduce you to right away.
Thank you for
That's
that.
exciting, because there are people that really do need that, and it is an element of really just up-leveling what you're doing and making sure you're coming out there, because it's the difference between $2 and $20. Right? It's the difference between how that revenue is going to turn back up for you.
Right. You
And-
want to make sure you're putting your best face, voice, and image out there so that your targeted audience, your potential, can receive it well and understand, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And so that's what voiceover does. It takes your message that you've worked on and written and made sure reads just right, and then it puts a professional on it that is going to make it sound just right so that it can engage and accomplish what it is that you need it to.
So I'm going to ask you a handful of questions about the things that you've noticed more, because you've got extensive history in this area. You've been doing this for quite some time.
My background was radio, and then that took me into voiceover, doing that on the side, and now I do it full time. So yes, I have quite a bit of experience with it.
That's fun. I like to know where my resources are. That's awesome. What do you notice as some of the most common flaws in the difference between what we put together and what you're able to do and what you're able to improve?
Let's see. Maybe one of the very first things that comes to mind is a small to medium-sized business owner who actually uses their cell phone as their business line.
Mm-hmm.
And when you call it, it says, that's right, nothing. It says nothing, dead air. And then it beeps. And we all know what to do with the beep. But you have missed the opportunity as a professional to set your targeted person who's leaving a message to understand who you are. So one of my biggest tips to business owners is your cell phone. Don't overlook it. If you have a professional that can do it for you, great. But if you don't, not an excuse. Set it up with your name and your company. And here's a little bit for you. Who doesn't want access to something immediately? Okay, if I can't reach you, why not include something to the effect of, I'm not available right now, but I'll return your call as quickly as I can. However, if you need immediate access to something, maybe my website has the answer for you. And then give your web address, MelanieMurphyVO.com. That way you've empowered whoever's trying to reach you to take the next step in getting you.
What I love about that advice, Melanie, is that the how many touch points it takes to actually close a sale. A lot of people think no means no, when no really means not yet, or I don't know quite enough about you yet. And if we're in the process of developing those relationships, there's going to be several touch points. It's not uncommon to have up to 9 different touch points before you actually do business together, whatever that looks like. And so your website plays that integral part. So does your phone. And there's we've been talking about it all year in different ways. I haven't looked at it the way you're looking at it, so I love this. I love adding this dimension to the conversation because, you've heard us talk about how SEO is such a big deal, your search engine optimization, right? Can you be found for what you want to be found for? That's the thing. You get to manipulate that. A lot of people don't talk about that, but you've got language that you want associated with you that may not be the greatest numbers and things that you need to know what the research is, and then you need to know how to manipulate and how to change that so it reflects you when people are looking specifically for you. Well, it could all be great. It could all be perfect. And how many of you know that you could use the right keywords and the right language and everything great on the website and all those sequences are well and the phone rings and you haven't closed the sale? And if you do not understand where you dropped the ball, a lot of times people will say, wait a minute, we need a new marketing approach. No, that won't solve the problem if the person answering the phone doesn't understand how that all ties together and the best way to convey what needs to be conveyed with the company. So it absolutely, you can't, and especially if you're cooking, and really cooking, you're not answering that phone. It's going to voicemail. There's a message happening there. And so I can see where those steps all need to play together. Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think that I just want to address voiceover in general. Sometimes it intimidates people because either they don't think it's accessible, or they don't think it's for them, or they think their SEO is doing the job. But we know that now the search engines are going to, they're starting to curtsy and bow to YouTube because of everything that's there. And so business owners are becoming more video minded, which I totally get because I do quite a bit of explainer or how-to type videos, product videos that companies put on their website, one, to educate with, and two, to drive that SEO, to really help them benefit. And so that would be an area that I would encourage business owners not to overlook, the necessity for professional voiceover for those type of videos. And the reason to, sometimes I hear people say, yeah, but my sister's husband's cousin has a really good voice, and he said that he would do it. Or
he might be the one doing your website too. We know about you.
Or Jessica, we just hired her as the receptionist. She has such a good voice, and so she's going to do all of our videos from here on. Which sometimes I say, that's great, let her do that, and then here's my phone number just in case.
Well, that's important because that doesn't mean she's doing a bad job. That means we need to have each expert in their place if we're really going to play a big game, and that's very, very important to look at. So you've got that opportunity to train Jessica, our friend, to the receptionist to learn how to do that, but she's not there yet. She's not there today, and today you need something that it's amazingly, you're very affordable. It's not a ridiculous thing. People may have a pie in the sky idea of what this looks like, right? We tend to have these ideas, these stories that we tell ourselves about what these little professional areas look like. And it's really not a scary thing. It's really an important thing. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to share, Melanie, with you.
I do effort to stay within a client's budget. I'm always open to having a discussion about that. And if you want to contact me to discuss that, I'm happy to entertain it. MelanieMurphyVO.com is my website, and I'm happy to chat with you about that.
Oh, wonderful. Friends, we are about to take a break, and you're going to hear from some of our sponsors. And when we get back, we're going to hear more from Melanie, and we're going to just rip this open a little bit more and cause this to be very familiar for you. You're listening to the Offbeat Business Show. We'll be right back.
Sound good.
Is that okay to do? To include my website?
Oh, you're not getting out of here before you do that.
Okay.
You're going to. Matter of fact, underneath this video, we'll have all that information as well as on your replay page. So you will be nice and accessible. Absolutely. Was there anything in there that you want to make sure I don't miss?
Oh my gosh, is there anything in here I want to make sure I don't miss? I want to point them to my front page because there's a benefit for them that they can get a piece I've written about what is your voice image telling you? Are you making these mistakes? How to correct them? That'd be good for business owners.
I'm sorry, answer that. Sorry. What'd you say?
I was just saying that I have a capture on my website that gives them, are you making these 5 voice image mistakes in your business and how to correct them? So I want to point them to my website for that.
Yes. Am I?
I don't know, because I don't always, when I'm talking to somebody, screen them through my filter of voiceover.
Okay.
I'm just engaging them with just as a person.
And
so,
you're adorable. You're very engaging. So that's
well,
easy
now
to
I will.
do.
Now I'm going to be. I'm
Now
watching
she's gonna be
you.
watching me, which ought to make me real uncomfortable.
No,
Don't
you're
let it,
good.
folks. Don't
You're
let it, folks.
good.
Because if you're not growing and learn in some area, you're really not doing anything at all, and you won't stand still. You're either growing or falling apart.
Yeah.
So we want you growing.
Mine is grammatical filters.
Oh,
Don't
that
end
you
sen-
listen?
Don't end that sentence with preposition.
Great.
I hear
Are
that.
we on a timed break?
Welcome.
Hey there.
Hi there. All right. So we're on the
guys.
video in between. We're about to start up the second hit. So get yourself a chair.
Is it a
folks.
10-minute?
sure.
Is that what we had? Did we do 10 minutes already?
No, we did
Oh, that
13.
flies, right?
13?
13.
Little more? Little more? Let me
Sounds
move
good.
my
More's
horse out of your
better.
way. Excuse me. I'll tell you what, if I can get you over there.
It's I hear newscasters.
Get this out of the way.
Do.
They'll
Oh, yes,
describe a
absolutely.
situation and they say,
Absolutely.
this is where they're at.
Oh, did you?
I almost said that when you said that that was your pet peeve. Like, where are we at in that?
Okay.
I'd rather me.
Listo?
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's put some sauce on this brisket.
And we're back. You're listening to the Offbeat Business Show. This is Susan Hamilton, and I'm talking with Melanie VO, voiceover. Melanie Murphy. She has got so much information about how to really polish up your game when it comes to using any type of audio for your business, including audio for your videos,
Sure.
because it's such an important thing, especially for you, American business owners. You are, we represent you. We represent the 80% of American small business owners that tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. And that means we are probably not working within the same dynamic as you expect for corporate America. We're managing and everything about our business with family, right? We really are, and that means that a lot of times we say, oh, your talent is this, so you be the one that leaves the message on the phone, or you be the one that takes care of the video. And while that is great when you're first starting out, and it's important you be able to do that, there comes a time when it's time to up-level what you're doing. It's time to polish it up and shine it up. And so I love what you're offering and helping us understand all the different areas that using a voiceover can make such a difference.
Sure, and I too am a small to medium-sized company, so I get it, having to wear all the different hats and make sure that you have all of your bases covered. But I want to give you maybe some more understanding of why would you hire a voiceover talent. So here are just a few things that come to mind for me.
Okay.
3 areas.
All right.
First of all, Jessica, the receptionist, has a great voice, but she hasn't been trained necessarily how to use her voice to the maximum, and a professional voiceover talent has. Pro VO will also have equipment that is professional, so it's not going to sound like a hollow tin can. It's not going to sound like they're under the bed muting with pillows to make sure that you can't hear the train tracks next door. It's going to sound full. It's going to sound high quality. And then also, Pro Voice Talent is going to make sure that they represent themselves well to represent you well. Their voice is going to move out of the way, conveying your message so that your target is going to hear it, be engaged, and take the action you need them to.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So your voice is going to get out of the way and get the message out there. That's how can our voice get in the way?
Well, we don't necessarily always recognize that we're stumbling and bumbling over words because we are not used to reading out loud quickly and conversationally. So
Right.
we start to read a script, and you know what it sounds like? Like you're reading a script.
Yes.
Versus it being casual and conversational, which is really what we want it to
Right,
sound
right.
like.
Engaging.
A professional can do that for you.
That's nice.
For sure. And I have some samples available. If you're trying to figure out, even as you're listening to this, what my voice can do, because I get paid to be the super happy mom and the pulled together executive, and then maybe even sometimes that serious tone for professional videos. And on my website are lots of different samples of that so that you can hear the different areas that my voice is well suited for. And every professional voiceover talent should be able to offer you that, a different version of what maybe even you had in mind, so you can make sure that you have just what you need for your company, for your brand, for your product sound.
I love that. I love that. So listen for that coming up, because the Offbeat Business Show is getting polished up, and we are going to see what that sounds like. And I'm expecting it to be awesome, because I've liked everything I've had to do with Melanie ever since I talked to her the first time. And I want you to see what that looks like, and we'll lead by example. Make sure you are doing everything that you can to play that bigger game and be able to attract that higher paying customer, higher paying client that doesn't even, it's not like we know we're looking for the details. We have no idea.
Right.
They're just little things that our ear catches or that our eye catches
Sure.
that we wouldn't normally pay attention to. But they do make a difference.
They
for
do.
the discriminating business owner, and let's face it, business owners are the largest referral base out there.
And all of this plays into what I like to call voice image. I do voiceover, but our voice image as a company is that first impression when we call, or maybe when I'm watching your video and it just needs a little up in its game, and sometimes your voice image will play into that. And so I like to encourage companies to really investigate, are you making some of those mistakes that maybe play down your voice image, when really just by tweaking a few things you can up your game in voice image. So on my website, melaniemurphyvo.com, is a quiz, and you can go and take that and check out if you're doing that, and then it offers you some ideas of how to maybe clean that up a little bit.
That's great. That's great. One of the things that you'd said early on that I thought maybe we could talk about in a little more detail. What you were talking about, the how-to videos, or the fact that we know to put together videos. That doesn't mean we're doing them in a way that's necessarily maximizing the value.
Sure.
When you're taking a look at someone's information and deciding whether or not you're going to take a job, and you're looking at those things, what are some of the things that you start to recognize can be solved? What are some of the things that you can address? And what does this look like, Melanie? Do I give you the file and then you do the digital?
Typically, let me address that from a couple
Yeah.
different directions.
Big question.
You said how-to videos, and they get called several different
Right,
things.
right.
So let me just throw out some names of it so you can say, that's what she means. Or, oh yeah, I've heard that.
Mhm.
How-to, explainer videos, product videos, whiteboard videos, animated videos. Any of those all can kind of fall into the same category. And they can be anywhere from just a few seconds, 30 seconds maybe even, up until 2, 3, however long you need them to be. But they're usually packed with information to convey your message. So when I'm working with somebody specifically to do the voiceover, they typically give me an idea of their project so I can quote for them what it's going to cost. And many times they'll send me their script, and I'll check out how long it is. And that's even before I'm looking at what it says, because typically that is on their end, and if they need me to play the editor role, I can. Otherwise, I read what's on the page. But I check it out, make sure it's got all the components, and there have been a couple of times when I'm working on a piece, even after the job's been spec'd and quoted, and they've said yes, and I'm in the booth to record, and I'm reading over it again, and I'm just recognizing this doesn't have the flow that they think it does.
Right.
Because we write differently than we
Yes.
read. And so my job is to make it sound just like I'm not reading it, just like it's the way I would talk. And when we can't quite get there, sometimes I'll go back and say, hey, I would like to suggest that maybe we switch these words around a little bit so that it flows better. And most of the time, when it's a small to medium-sized business, they are game for it, because they want the best reflection of their product and their business as can be. And that's why they're hiring a voiceover talent, so that it can be the best image possible.
Right. I like that. So you're going to take it. You have the editing. That's exactly why I wanted to talk to you about the length of time you've been in business, because if you don't have the specialty experience in this area, the specialized area, the specialized education in this area, you don't recognize it. I noticed that because my principal area of expertise is in copy edit and in content editing. So when I look at those things, I see things a lot of people that would never, they don't
Sure.
see it. But one of the things I always tell everyone that contributes to the Offbeat Business Magazine, and I send this out in our emails, by the way, if you haven't signed up to get our lineup and magazine and all the information that the Offbeat Business Show magazine puts out, make sure you sign up for our email and to be on our list and get that information, because we send this out on a regular basis. But if you're going to contribute to the Offbeat Business Magazine, read your article out loud to yourself. Read it out loud, because you're right. It's very different in your head, and if you stumble, someone else is going to stumble. And so often when you're used to how it looks, you write something down that doesn't even make any sense.
And then you read it over again, and your mind just fills in the blanks for what
right,
you
right.
meant versus what you actually wrote.
So you getting another pair of eyes on that is wise, but also letting it rest, right? Letting it sit there for about 24 hours. I can tell which authors do that. Which contributors will let it set and come back to it and just check it one more time.
Note to self, start waiting 24 hours.
Wait at least 24 hours before you go back into your stuff. So because you're right, your eyes will skip right over those pieces, which you know that as long as you've been doing this. And
My background was radio, where I was on air, but before that I was an editor and then a managing editor of a program. So
Great.
I'm very familiar with writing and making sure that all the components are necessary, that are necessary. So that's just another thing that I bring to the table when I work with any company.
I love that. So it's not, what kind of turnaround time are we looking at?
Typically it's within 24 hours. So when I receive, once we've reached an understanding of where we're going, and you've signed the contract and got it back to me with the script, then I can usually turn that around within 24 hours.
Wow. That's
I have a professional studio. I have the editing skills and equipment needed, and I pride myself in responding quickly with communication and also with product. So depending on the workload, I can turn it around quickly.
And I'm going to pick your brain about this one area again when you're looking at the trainer and explainer videos and those types of things, because I think it's a huge need that we need to just consider filling in our companies. It's because to standardize the training from one to the next, and those videos can be such a big difference.
Yes.
A lot of times that we're the matriarch or the patriarch of the family is just kind of taking on more family members, right? That was a great base for the company, but now you are VP of Communications. You are, right? Your management.
That's right. Our organization chart is getting filled up by cousin, aunt, and then we start hiring outside of that.
Which that's wonderful, but we can't standardize anything like that, and so that makes accountability rather difficult.
I love to encourage companies to consider training videos, that once you have taught this, and then you've taught it again, and then you've taught it again, you now actually are doing a disservice to yourself and your company, because your time is better spent over there. Best to spend that money on the front side, get a product that you know you can play for them, where they hear the hiring practices, what they need to do for their health insurance and everything else. They fill out this document proving that they actually watched the video, and then you're free to continue to do what you need to, and that will pay off over time as you're not having to teach it again. So having it professionally recorded by somebody that's going to go through your training practices is going to empower the listener, your new hire, or whatever training protocol it is,
even retraining,
and yourself.
Right.
Exactly. Many companies have continuing education of sorts or retraining new products, and that's a great way to do it, is to have a video that is professionally voiced and well done to free yourself to go do what is going to advance your company even further.
Well, you're very well spoken. And I love what she's offering for you today, friends. How do they reach you one more time, Melanie?
MelanieMurphyVO.com is my website. You can sign up for my quick Q&A, my quick quiz that I have for business owners, and you can contact me there, or Melanie at MelanieMurphyVO.com is my email, and you're welcome to reach out to me there as well.
Are you on social media?
I am. Feel free to connect with me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and again, my website is MelanieMurphyVO.com.
Wonderful. Friends, you've been listening to the Offbeat Business Show. If you've enjoyed this conversation as much as I have, make sure you leave us your comments. We'd love to hear from you, and share this with people that you know could use the information. As always, you can find our magazine, our lineup, our podcast and sponsor information at offbeatbusiness.com. We are looking forward to getting to know you better. Make sure you sign up to get on our email subscriber list so you can stay in contact with all of this, and you can also download our app at offbeatbusiness.com/app. Until next time, this is Susan Hamilton. You've been listening to the Offbeat Business Show.
No, spell your name.
MEL